Picture this, you're offshore with your cat with the destination about 150 miles away. A good offshore passage on a day with lots of wind on the beam. You trim the sails and get the cat moving. 8 knots, 10 knots, 11, 11.5. She's going really good now. Bang! The bridge deck slams into a wave. You look down at the speed, 4.5 knots. The boat lurches and then starts sailing faster again. 10, 10.5. 11. Bang! Another slam. This is the reality of bridge deck slamming, and the moment you realize that the $500,000 you spent on the cat may have been a mistake. She sure is comfortable at anchor, but you can't live with the slamming while she's sailing. What are you gonna do? Who's gonna buy the boat now? And after you spent 30 grand outfitting her with solar panels and a deep freezer. I was watching this video by Riley from Liveaboard where he explains the reality of owning a cat. Not the sales brochure stuff, the polars and VMG, miles per day, the ability to run from storms, real stuff. And the whole video I kept thinking, Riley, tell me which boats are good and which ones are bad. But as awesome as the video is, he doesn't go into that. So let's do it now. It's super easy to pick a cat based on livability, the interior layout, but as Riley explains, this is a bad way to pick a boat. He says too many cats these days are designed around the size of the bed or the galley, with the rest of the boat built to accommodate the comfort target. So if you're cat shopping, instead of starting with a comfortable goal or interior layout goal, let's start with something that matters a lot more. One of the biggest complaints about cats, and a big reason most people end up selling their cat, is bridge deck clearance. We don't talk about that enough. This is the distance between the bridge deck, the flat part under the bottom of the boat between the hulls, and the water. When it's too low, the boat slams into the water surface, making it wildly uncomfortable and really bad at sailing. The other metric is how fast the boat is, but in a real sense, like how many miles will it do in a 24-hour period? This may seem arbitrary, but as Riley explains, in a real world, how many miles you make really opens up your horizons on travel, where you can go in a day. But more importantly, it changes how you deal with weather. If you're a 100-mile-a-day kind of boat, you're always ducking the weather forecast. And it changes how you travel compared to a boat that will make 200 or 250 miles in a day and move at the same speed as the weather system. Riley explains on the faster boat, you can actually chase the backside of a storm system pretty safely. So let's look at some real-life boats. We'll be using sort of a top 5 list of best-selling cats from the last 10 years or so. A Lagoon 450, a Lagoon 42, a Seawind 1370, Fountaine Pajot 40, and Leopard 48. Starting at the top, the Lagoon 450, they don't report anywhere what the bridge deck height is on this boat. The manufacturer doesn't say. None of the reviews stated in any of the magazines. And when people go to ask in forums, they largely go unanswered, which is sad. But I did find some posts that do mention bridge deck height for the 450. Caroline of SV Physig says the 450 is better than their old cat and only slams sometimes. Another post on Cruisers Forum states the clearance specifically to be 28 inches. For miles per day, several sources put the 450 between 120 and 180 depending on the conditions. Boat number 2, the Lagoon 42, reports a bridge deck height clearance of the same 28 inches. Miles per day reported by most owners is about 150. Boat number 3, the Seawind 1370, that reports a bridge deck height of 33 inches, a pretty big jump from the Lagoons. Miles made good on the Seawind, 165 to 200, a faster cat. Boat number 4, Fountaine Pajot 40. I was looking at the entry-level boat called the Isla 40, but the bridge deck clearance for that boat's not reported or published. But I did find the bridge deck for the 41 Leopard. It's listed at 25.68 inches, less than the others so far. Miles per day on the Fountaine Pajot, most people report between 130 and 170. And boat number 5, the Leopard 48, reports a bridge deck clearance as much as 36 inches. In fact, more than 36, almost 3.5 feet before you put any stuff on the boat. That's a big, big number. Miles per day on the Leopard reported by most owners is about 160 on average. To put all these numbers in perspective, a smaller cat, like a Gemini 105, has a bridge deck clearance of just 18 inches and makes a probably conservative 150 miles a day. Sort this list by bridge deck, Leopard takes the win, while miles per day for each cat are roughly the same. None of them are really slow per se. Should also be looking at how high they can point, because 200 miles a day in the wrong direction doesn't really help you very much. Adventure Sailing, this is a blog, also did a pretty good review of their experience with catamarans. In it, they point out that one of the defining characteristics of a cat is the lightweight construction of the boat. This is kind of what makes them fast. Unlike monohulls, which carry as much as 40% or more of their weight in their keel, catamarans distribute the weight between the two hulls. This affects how they handle in several ways. For one example, they're very slow to tack. Without a heavy keel, catamarans can't carry as much momentum through a tack, making them slower to turn through the wind compared to monohulls. Reduced coasting ability on cats. If you're trying to glide up to a mooring or hold position without putting on too much power, a cat's lightweight means you'll lose speed a lot faster. Sailors coming from monohulls may find cats feel less forgiving in terms of handling, requiring more precise adjustments to maintain control. Unlike monohulls, cats don't handle heavy loads well. If you plan to take a lot of stuff or gear or something on a long voyage, it can become a problem if you get a cat. Adding 10% of a catamaran's weight can reduce its speed by up to 10%. Overloading a cat can affect performance, stability, and definitely fuel efficiency. While catamarans provide more living space, storage is not always as ample as you might think. For cruisers who like to bring a lot of provisions and spares and gear, a catamaran might not actually be the best choice. Catamarans also obviously take up a lot more space than monos, meaning they often are charged a lot higher docking fees in marinas if the marina can even accommodate you. Many marinas charge 20 to 40% more to take on a catamaran. Due to their width, cats are often assigned an end of dock or a T-head or out on the wall, which is probably less protected depending on which conditions you're facing in the marina. If you plan to spend a lot of time in marinas, factor in those higher costs when you budget for your cat. It's no doubt that cats offer a high advantage over monos for speed and comfort at anchor, and they don't really heel over if heeling bothers you. So if you're set on a cat, I definitely don't blame you. I think what we learned here is that we need to ask the right questions about that cat before we buy it. Talk to the owners who actually sail their boats, not the dock queens. What is the slamming like on your boat? How high can your boat point? Is it a dog at sea really struggling to knock out 150 miles in a day? Less focus on the living arrangements and more focus on the boat's ability to get from place to place without driving you absolutely crazy. Once you find a hull that actually does a good job as a sailing boat, then worry about interior accommodation. And speaking of absolutely crazy, did you know that the bendy solar panels are actually getting a lot better? We've always loved to use rigid panels because they produce a lot more power, but the bendy panels are so much easier to mount on a boat. In a recent article we posted, we tested some new bendy panels that actually roll up for storage, and we were pretty surprised by their performance. If you want to do some learning today, I'll link the article in the description. It's a great thing to read. If you like sailboats, give this video a thumbs up. It really helps us out. And hit subscribe so I can see you again next time.